This is episode 10 of the Bleacher Nation Bears Podcast. Thanks to our sponsoring partner, Obvious Shirts. Obvious Shirts. Words on shirts. If you're looking for a great holiday gift for someone, or even yourself, our friends at Obvious Shirts have you covered. You can get yours at obviousshirts.com, or you can go in person to their store at the corner of Clark and Grace in Wrigleyville. Go support our friends at Obvious Shirts because they support us. Thanks again to our sponsors at Obvious Shirts. Tell them the Bleacher Nation Bears podcast sent you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving indeed for an 8-3 football team.
An 8-3 football team. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the BN Bears Podcast. My name is Patrick Flowers, and I'm joined by Matt Rooney and Luis Medina, as I am every week, and our producer, Addison Hayes. Gentlemen, it is another Victory Monday. The Bears are 8-3. They knocked off the Steelers 31-28. As much as I would have loved to see Caleb Williams outduel Aaron Rodgers and kind of slay the boogeyman that's haunted the Bears for the better part of the last 2 decades, I don't care. I don't care that it shook out that Mason Rudolph was the starter because the Bears are 8-3.
I kind of like seeing sad Aaron Rodgers' face on the sidelines too. Like, it was like, would I have loved to see Caleb Williams beat him in an ideal world? Yeah, but like, cool, you were too hurt to play and we wouldn't beat your team and you had to stand there and watch it. Like, there's nothing Aaron Rodgers could do about it. He just had to sit there, watch it, watch his team lose, and him come to Soldier Field and leave a loser. So that's the consolation prize I'm taking. It's almost worse for him to have to stand there and not be able to do anything about it than him go one-on-one with Caleb and get out-dueled by Caleb.
For me, that was the best part, that he had to sit there, stand there, hopelessly and helplessly watching Mason Rudolph. There was that one play at the end where he noticed that they were going to have the illegal formation, and the CBS camera cuts him. He's like, this is just like, oh, see, Mason Rudolph doesn't see what's happening here. And it was, in a way, I think it was, what's the word that I'm looking for? It gave me life. It made me feel good about things. Seeing the villain.
It gave me life. It made me feel good about things. I love that. That's a perfect breakdown.
It made me feel good. Like, haha, you can't do anything about this. And even if you could, I don't know if he could. Like, Aaron Rodgers has diminished skills. Sure, he could have one more boogeyman moment, but man, the way Montez Sweat was playing, I don't know. Maybe Montez Sweat, sits on his head in the first quarter, and we still get Mason Rudolph anyway. Overall, it was a good game. I'm happy to see Aaron Rodgers leave a loser. And frankly, if the Steelers missed the playoffs because he sat that game, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I don't know how healthy he would have been. It was his non-throwing wrist, so like maybe he would have been okay if he was actually playing. But like, against those linebackers and against that secondary without Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson, for as good as Nashawn Wright played yesterday, like, I still would have had a little bit of fear that Aaron Rodgers could have done a little bit more just in terms of like knowing how to pick apart a defense that beat up, just in terms of short passing game and all that stuff. But either way, it was nice seeing him just have to stand there and watch his team lose in a playoff race in a game that they kind of needed to have too, which yesterday felt like a must win for both teams. Kind of oddly enough, it's weird to say a 7-3 team was in a must win, but I felt like the Bears were kind of in a must win yesterday. Seeing his team in a must-win go down because he couldn't play, that's fitting.
Yeah, it would suck to see the Bears lose the Super Bowl the week 12 Super Bowl.
You know what? Every week's their Super Bowl. Every week's their Super Bowl. The Commanders game was their Super Bowl. The Vikings game was their Super Bowl. Every game is the Bears Super Bowl, according to opposing fan bases that the Bears beat.
That's my takeaway of the week, is that if you're wondering whether the Bears are actually good or not, or it's in the demeanor of the opposing fan bases. Every single week we see the opposing fan base coping by saying that, oh my God, that this was the Bears Super Bowl. This was the Bears Super Bowl. We won eight Super Bowls this year. We've won 8 Super Bowls already.
It's weird because I feel like there's a lot of teams that are kind of having seasons like this too, not necessarily like getting lucky, but just winning close games against maybe not the best of teams. Like, I'm looking at the Patriots schedule right now. Everybody is all over the Patriots, and Drake May's been great, and they're really good, and they're a Super Bowl threat at 10-2. They beat the Bengals by 6, the Jets by 14, the reeling Bucks by 5, the Falcons, who stink, by 1, the Titans and Browns, they kind of blew out. The Saints, they played a really close game with. Like, they're not exactly blowing the doors off these bad teams either, with the exception, I think it was, of Tennessee and kind of Cleveland to an extent. They lost to the Raiders. Like, it's the NFL. Wins are wins. You don't have to blow out bad teams, because even bad teams in the NFL are good football teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what happens in the NFL. It's not like college football where you can buy a win or you can schedule, some lollipops. No, like, these are all tough games, and this is what Pete Rozelle wanted a long time ago when he was the commissioner of the NFL, where you have a bunch of teams in a blob where any team can win on any given Sunday, any quarterback, any playmakers can make a play on and change a game and change outlook and change a season. Look, here's the reality of the Bears situation. They're a good team. They are a good team for this season. I don't know if this season would play out like this if they played it 100 times, but it's playing out like this now. And that's what matters. It doesn't matter if this was another year or another team. No, that doesn't matter. We don't live in alternate universes. We live in this one. And in this one, the Bears are good. And if you're an opposing fan base that lost to a team that you don't think is that good, that's on your team. I'm sorry.
Right.
We as Bears fans and Bears now, reporters too, who cover the team, like, how many times have we seen these losses over the last few years where the Bears are playing teams that are considered bad or worse than them, that they find ways to lose? Pet,
on the time.
Going into this stretch of whatever it's been, 5 or 6 games, where we're saying kind of this is their winnable stretch. I even said along the lines, they're like, hey, we very well might see a game where, like, they're playing a team that they're better than, but they just might lose it because they're not great themselves, and this is the NFL. Granted, they pretty much ran the table with the exception of the Ravens, and I even wouldn't say that the Ravens were a worse football team than them with Tyler Huntley starting, because Tyler Huntley on the Ravens is a good quarterback. But, like, that happens all the time. Like, teams lose games that they shouldn't because it's still the NFL, or to teams they shouldn't, I should say. And the fact that the Bears continually take care of business against these teams is a positive sign. What does that mean when they're going to go up against the Eagles on Friday and that defense, or the Packers if they're playing their best in Lambeau the week after? Not really sure yet. But one thing we know is they're going to go into Lincoln Financial Field on Friday as an 8-3 football team. And that's a very, very good thing, on Black Friday when we're getting to Thanksgiving and beyond.
What's the excuse going to be on Friday when the Bears beat the Eagles?
Oh, the Eagles have no offense. No offense. Oh, no. Their offensive line's beat up. They can't play offense.
Yeah.
You see what they did against Matt Eberflus's defense? They couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything in the second half. It's a short week, like we said. They're beat up, not healthy. That's the excuse.
They're there. They're there. I'm just waiting for which excuse it's going to be when they go in and win. I mean, we'll talk more about the Bears Eagles here in a little bit, but just funny that there's just always an excuse. It's always an excuse as to why the Bears won the game. Not just that the Bears won. They play gritty, tough football. Maybe not pretty, sure, but they win. They find a way to win.
I feel like the theme of the year has been gritty, not pretty, and that's okay.
Gritty, because the
Bears, Ben Johnson is a very good coach who has this team well coached. And when you don't play your best, if you are fundamentally sound and do the little things right, a lot of the times these bounces are going to go your way. They haven't had to have their best, but like I said, they're doing little things right. They're well coached. They're in the right place at the right time. They're trusting their system. They're doing their jobs. And when you just do your job on every play, good things will happen for the most part. And that's what the Bears are doing. They're not perfect. There's still a heck of a lot of room left to grow, in my opinion. I think Caleb had a good, not a great week, and there's some things that he's going to have to do better and clean up if they want to beat some of these better teams and make a run in the playoffs. But it's better to be figuring these things out as an 8-3 football team than a 5-4, or I don't even know if I did the math right. No, it would be 6-5. I'm really bad at math, guys. I don't know if you knew that. It's better to be figuring these things out as a team that's 5 games above 500 instead of 1. Let's go with that.
100%. I mean, take a walk back with me to when did the Bears play Tampa in 2023? Was that week 3?
I'd rather not take a walk back to that game.
I
do vividly remember after that podcast, though, that I believe I said when do we start like the Caleb
the whole
conversation?
The whole show minus the introduction was us talking about quarterbacks in the upcoming
when do we
draft.
start looking at Caleb?
By week 3 in 2023, we were done, cooked, no hope, scouting quarterbacks in September. So yes, this is gritty rather than pretty, but don't be ungrateful. Like, this is what we've been asking for years and years and years and years, and we have it. So just enjoy it. Stop trying to, like Luis said, live in an alternate universe of what ifs and hows. We're here. They're 8-3. We got a lot to be thankful for this week as Bears fans.
We're gonna have to come up with a segment called "Gritty Not Pretty" or "Gritty and Pretty." Something gritty from each game and something pretty. Not doing that this week, but we're gonna put that. I'm gonna bring that back at some point. I like that. That's a good idea. Put a pin in that.
I like it. Maybe we could do it. Maybe we could do it on Friday during our show.
Yeah,
because Black Friday post game show.
Black Friday. We have a Black Friday post game show coming up after the Bears Eagles game on Friday. So, the little schedule change.
When everyone's looking for weekend content that nobody else is putting out, me, Patrick, Lou, and Addison, we're going to be hard at work making sure you guys have something to listen to, whether that's on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming home from your Thanksgiving party. So we got you covered.
We're here for you.
You know who else was good?
Go ahead. I was going to ask what you thought of Caleb.
Oh, okay. So we got that in common. We were going there. Yeah. We were going down the same rate. 2 ways to get
Start
there.
Us off.
Hey, 19 of 35, 239, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 104 rating, 54% on the completions. We want it to be higher, obviously. He missed some throws. I also watched Drake May sail 6 throws at the halftime show in one into a defender's arms. People miss throws. There's yards being left out on the field every week still. There's points being left out on the field every week still. But he's improving every week. This was a good performance still.
Yeah, like accuracy issues still have consistency. I should say, in accuracy should be one thing that should be high up on the checklist for him to clean up. There are definitely some throws where if he's not totally missing them, they're a touch behind when they should be a touch in front. I still think he's learning how to be a pocket quarterback, how to stay in the pocket and how to trust his pocket, because last year did a lot of damage for him in terms of learning how to trust his pocket. But he also doesn't let those bad throws linger very long. Once he makes a bad one, once he misses Luther Burden a little bit behind on a shallow crossing route, a lot of times he does step up and make a throw on the next, on his next opportunity to hit somebody. I think after missing Burden earlier, I forgot when it was, when they were going down a couple plays later, he hit him in stride on a slant over the middle and he picked up a bunch of yards for it. So like, he's doing a really good job of not letting those misses, those mistakes compound into bigger mistakes, compound into overthinking, compound into pressing, compound into throwing the ball to the other team. It's all right. That one was bad. Let's move on. Let's get to the next one. He does a really, really good job of that.
I think the best thing I saw out of Caleb Williams this weekend was that he put touchdowns on the board when the Bears' backs were against the wall. When the Bears got down 14-7, I was worried. I
thought they were going to lose. I thought it was going to get out of hand.
I was like, time. But Caleb has this resiliency in his game, and I'm glad that they didn't wait till the fourth quarter to show it off. So to see him throw 3 touchdowns, I know he didn't throw for 300 yards. I know he didn't complete 70% of his passes, but Patrick nailed it earlier. Guys miss throws all the time. And I think we as NFL fans need to come to realize that not every quarterback is going to have stat lines who look like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. There's going to be misses. There's going to be incompletions. There's going to be interceptions. Maybe not as many for Caleb because Caleb's processing and decision making
protects the ball.
Good. Yeah, save for that one stupid play, he protects the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, his arm was pinned into his body. Like, I mean, maybe I don't even know if this is physically possible, but would I rather him take a safety? Yeah, for sure. But I'm not sure he even come down with that ball, with possession of that ball, with one hand, with your arm pinned against your body and coming down with that force. Maybe I would have preferred it, but man, I don't think it was as egregious as it was made out to be in the moment. And in the moment, I was one of those people. I was watching the game live, and you only get the TV broadcast live, and I'm like, oh, that was ugly. What are we trying to do there? JJ Watt, his brother, was the first person to point out that he's like, there's not really a whole lot he could have done there. His arm was pinned to his body. So
the only thing was maybe get the ball out earlier. Get the ball out earlier. It looked like DJ Moore might have been sitting there for like a 3-yard pickup, but also there was a defender lurking. I don't remember if it was a safety or linebacker, was kind of lurking right behind him, where it's a throw. If there's not a ton of zip on it, it could get picked off or broken up. Maybe try and get that ball out. But TJ Watt's just a really good football player, and he made a really good football play. Was it smart on Caleb Williams? And no, but like, he's not going to be perfect, and a really, really good football player took advantage. That's what they do.
Yeah, and then he bounced back from it, because that's the thing. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
It's like, everyone's going to have mistakes. Everyone's going to mess up. Even great players have dumb plays. How do you bounce back from that? And so many times over the years, we've seen Bears quarterbacks compound one mistake after another, and then it snowballs, and then it's awful. And Caleb Williams doesn't allow that to happen. And I don't know. I think a lot of it is him, obviously, because you got to have some cojones to be able to pull it together. But I think it's the coaching that keeps him level-headed. He's got a guy like Joe Tooney in the middle of that line who's, hey, like, you're okay, kid. He's got guys who he can trust as pass catchers. That's the other thing that kind of stood out to me. Is like, he is really spreading the ball out to everyone. During the 4-game winning streak, they've had a different leading receiver every game because Caleb trusts everyone now. That's a really good sign. I don't talk about that enough.
Looking at I just pulled up the box score now because I think that's a really good point. They had 8 different players with receptions, 4 different with 3+ receptions, and 4 different receivers with 45 or more receiving yards. That's the definition of spreading the ball around. It's not just even the Cowboys game. It felt like there are times like when he's really in a groove, he's kind of looking for Rome and trying to work Rome open, which he still, I think, does like to do. I do think that's his favorite target when he's feeling it, but he's done an awesome job of getting everybody involved because that's how the best offenses operate. They get all of their playmakers involved and keep defenses guessing.
100%. I mean, fun. I shared this in the nightcap yesterday via the Bears media website. Caleb Williams registered his 4th career game with at least 3 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That is the most of any quarterback drafted over the last 2 seasons and tied for 3rd most in franchise history. That's awesome. That is
not
awesome.
Bad. That's not bad.
Awesome. If you want to play the compare game to the quarterbacks in the draft class, there you go. Maybe he's not putting up the yardage numbers that Drake May is, but he's definitely putting up better efficiency numbers than anyone else in this class as far as scoring and protecting the ball is concerned. And you put him up against all the Bears quarterbacks we've had to watch for our lifetimes. Give it, I mean, like, what are we talking, like a year, 2 years from now? Like, and he's going to have blown everybody else.
2 years from now, he's just going to be like the Bears all-time, with the exception of maybe Jay, like the Bears all-time leading quarterback in every category, just because it's been so bad. It'll be him and Cutler for just about everything.
And I'm not even saying like settle for what it is. It's because there's so much more. Like you can see that there's so much more room between where we're at now and what the ceiling is going to be. I'm just saying, just enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
But like,
comparison is the thief of joy. Stop with the week-to-week comparison to the other quarterbacks taken in the class.
It does seem like that slowed down a little bit as the Bears are winning. Like there's not as much.
Yeah, while they're winning,
it probably helps that Jaden Daniels has been hurt a lot of the year, and the Commanders have been terrible. But like, there hasn't been so much like, oh, they got the wrong guy. It's like, no, the Patriots have a good quarterback. The Bears have a good quarterback. The Commanders, I still think, have a good quarterback, even though he's been hurt. Like, I still think he's a guy. Like, let's just let all of these guys develop. And I think all 3 of them are probably in the right situations for all 3 of them. Like, it feels like this year, at least, ever since Jaden Daniels has gotten hurt and Caleb started playing well, it's been a whole lot more of just accepting that all 3 are pretty darn good quarterbacks, and all 3 teams might have gotten it right. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't have to be like, oh, you missed out on this guy. It's like, no, Drake May's good. Caleb's good. Jaden's good. We all got guys. It doesn't have to go back to like, oh, well, the Bears could have drafted Drake May. I'm not sure Drake May's as good in Ben Johnson's system as Caleb. He might be, might not be. We don't know that. We know Caleb is. We all have good quarterbacks. Let's just acknowledge that.
You know who's
Except
not
for the Vikings?
Draft class?
Vikings don't have a quarterback.
That's
I think it's something like EPA per play in the last
oh my god,
some sort of stat for the last 20 years. He's 851st out of 852nd, and the only quarterback below him or worse is Jamarcus Russell.
That's not company you want to keep.
Again, this is a very. I'm not saying quoting some. This is some stat I saw. I think it was EPA per play. I'm not reading an exact tweet. This is very much I saw this scanning Twitter, this morning. But when you're down there with Jamarcus Russell, that's some company. And I doubt JJ McCarthy can throw the ball 70 yards from his knees like Jamarcus Russell could.
This is true. He probably watches a little bit more film than Jamarcus Russell, though. I bet.
Probably a touch, I would say.
I was listening to part of my take the other day, and Rossini was on there, and
oh yeah, she suggesting maybe
is he even going to be the quarterback? Oh no, this was Hogan John. Sorry,
yeah, she said that on.
Oh, that's right.
He was on part of my take a few days earlier, but this
he's
is
on
Hogan
with them all the time. I feel like
and she actually suggested that there's a chance that he might not be the quarterback there next year.
He might not be.
If they finish like this, he can't be the only quarterback. You cannot run it back with him. Given where the Vikings roster is, Addison says KOC can fix Kyler. Who knows? That's not.
What if the Vikings cut JJ McCarthy and then re-sign JJ McCarthy as a reclamation project?
It'd be a lot cheaper. I'm not sure that that's actually allowed, but
it could be.
It'll be cheaper.
And nobody else is going to sign him.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor kid. We'll see. Let's give out some game balls from yesterday's game. Lou, you can lead us off because in the pre-show notes, you've got your guy already down in all caps.
Oh man, Montez Sweat gets my game ball this week. I'm not going to do a fake out. I'm not going to do the funny guy bit. Straight up, Montez Sweat deserves a game ball. 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 2 quarterback hits, 3 solo tackles. Should have had a 3rd sack. Was the game changer that the Bears traded for a few years ago. And he's been nice against the run. He's had flashes against pass rushing. But yesterday, he put it all together, and he's actually had it all together for the last month or so.
He's on a great run.
The last 6 games, it's 6.5 sacks. It's 8 tackles for loss. It's 9 quarterback hits. To give those numbers some perspective, that's a 17-game pace of 18 sacks, 22 TFLs, and 25 quarterback hits. If we can get a half season down the stretch of that Montez Sweat, oh man, this Bears defense is actually going to be good. They're not just going to be hanging by the skin of their teeth and hoping for, Mason Rudolph to throw it 5 yards short of the sticks. It's going to be, we've got a pass rusher that teams have to game plan against.
Worry about.
And I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm enjoying watching it now. And I think that's kind of the theme of this show and the theme of this year. Enjoy what we have now because we've watched a lot of bad football, and now that we're getting some good football, let's enjoy it. We can still pick at it, but enjoy it because we know what it's like when it's bad, and I don't want to experience that for a while. Maybe.
Yeah, I like that. I'm so happy to see him producing because last year, I don't want to call totally a wash, but it felt like last year he was playing hurt pretty much if not the entire year, about 75% of it. And he was catching a lot of flack when he was probably playing through some stuff that he didn't need to be playing through, given how bad the team was. When he first came here after the trade deadline, he was really, really good. He was affecting the way. I also thought to start this year, while the numbers weren't quite there, he was flashing a lot more, and we were seeing some really good things from him. Maybe he wasn't affecting the stat sheet as much as he was affecting the actual game, and he just didn't really have a tag team partner on the other side to be benefiting from what he was doing on his side. But it's really nice to see him finally getting those, highlights, those stats to stuff the box so people can actually see tangibly how he's affecting the game because he's just a really good football player.
Yeah, he really is. Well-rounded.
Yeah. I'm going DJ Moore for my game ball. He's the ultimate, just when I'm out, he pulls me back in. Not that I was ever fully out on him, but there are certain weeks where I'm you know what? I like him. He's a good football player, but he makes a lot of money. And, Luther Burden's coming up. We can probably just move on from him, bump up Burden. And then he goes and has a game like that where he's catches 2 touchdowns. He's doing the little things right. He's running great routes. That the whip route he ran on the touchdown was outstanding. JJ Watt did a breakdown of it too, like right after. It was just perfectly ran, got himself open, scored. The other touchdown, he could not have been more open. I'm not sure what happened on that coverage breakdown, but he was outstanding yesterday. And it was one of those like, oh yeah, he's still a really, really good wide receiver when he's playing his best.
Yeah, that was really encouraging to see. When it comes to DJ Moore, I love that this is the deepest he's been on a winning team. And he is starting to play like someone who wants to stick around and play for a winning team. If you get that guy bought in 100% to what this team is all about, it's going to be a very dangerous team if they can make it to the postseason.
Yeah,
I love DJ. I still don't think he's a long-term thing here.
Might not be, but we'll cross that. It's nice to see him. There were times last year where you wondered if he was going to check out enough to the point where they weren't even going to have him back this year. I don't know if he's going to be back next year, but it's nice to see him playing as best he can. One, because it means good things for the Bears. And two, if he has a strong finish to the year, Bears get to the playoffs, he has a good playoff game or whatever, that's a much better trade value than a guy who's checked out, making his money and doesn't put up good numbers down the stretch.
Great point, 100%. I am going with Trapeel. And I'm surprised you didn't go with the offensive lineman, Matt. Kind of.
I was going to get there. Eventually at some point when we talked about it. That's a good pick. I'll let you talk about it.
That kid, he's had an up and down year in terms of just perception. Like he came in as a second round pick. There was the thought that he could move over to the left tackle early in training camp. He was maybe possibly going to win the left tackle job. Then he wasn't. Then, it ends up, Theo Benedict passes him on the depth chart, and Theo Benedict takes over as the starter. And you don't hear about him for a few weeks, and Benedict gets hurt, and Braxton's obviously still in IR, and Trapilo steps in, and he was awesome. He was awesome. 87.4 pass block grade over at PFF, and 80.9 true pass set grade. That was tops on the team yesterday. No pressures, no sacks allowed, or one pressure, no sacks allowed. It was just a really, really good job from the rookie. And you come away from Sunday feeling a lot better about that pick than you had felt for much of the season.
Which the best compliment we can give him is he didn't notice him.
Right, 100%. Right? It was literally in the game. It was a replay at some point where I saw the nameplate on the back of his jersey, and I was like, "Oh, that's right."
He's playing
today. I noticed him, but like in good ways. I liked how he used his length. I liked how he used his feet to kind of set up some blocks. And I sat there and I kind of wrote about it this morning, Monday morning, depending on when you're listening to it. His play opened up the conversation of, is he a left tackle possibility for this team in the future? And if he plays like that, yes. And I wonder if 12 weeks, and it's not even 12 weeks on the bench, because remember, Ben Johnson's used him as an extra lineman. He's used him as a fullback. He's used him as a motion man. Perhaps those 12 weeks not being thrust into the action, dabbling, being in the playbook, learning some technique on the side. I wonder if those 12 weeks have helped him get to this point where you can start him in a pinch and feel good about it after the game.
We talk about this with quarterbacks all the time, but it's almost like giving the rookie time to develop and grow throughout the year is helpful for him. And that if he's not really good week one, maybe give him some time to learn and grow from the good coaching staff and develop and see if he gets better. And he has. He's a very smart offensive lineman. Luis, I love the point about how you said he uses his length, because that's something that he really does have. Not that most tackles are very big, but he's really, really big. I think he uses that really well. He's a smart player, and he's clearly absorbing a whole lot from year one as a rookie. Like you said, on the bench, but kind of not on the bench, but kind of on the bench is what do you want to call it? A rotating reserve, whatever, a sixth starter. I don't really care. He's clearly taken this quote unquote red shirt year and learned a whole lot from it. And I think yesterday was a very impressive game against a good defensive line. Granted, I think they did go out of their way to help him a little bit more, which you should if you're starting a rookie left tackle who's more of a right tackle, but he didn't really get noticed yesterday, and that's a very, very good thing for a rookie left tackle making his first start out there.
Yeah, I didn't want to get down the rabbit hole of what it could do for the offseason, but man, if him or Theo Benedict can establish themselves as a serviceable left tackle, that opens up a whole lot of things and a whole lot of resources for a team that could be really smart and use them to build instead of chasing positions that they miss on.
It's one game, and I don't know how long Benedict's going to be banged up for or out, but like another game like that, and Trapillo's just, I think it kind of turns back to his job to lose again. Yeah. I think ultimately this all, whether it was Braxton Jones getting the job or Benedict taking it over when he did, like I still think the end game was hoping that Trapillo is the one that takes the job because he was the second round draft pick last year. And who knows, maybe they also just knew he needed some time to develop because that's what a lot of rookies need. From what we saw yesterday, I thought that was a completely different player than we saw starting against the Dolphins in the preseason and all that. Like he looked a lot more confident, a lot more sure of himself. I think he's probably going to get chances to start down the road, whether Benedict's hurt or not. I think he's going to get looks because I think his ceiling's higher than Benedict, and I think the Bears really want him to work out there because, like you said, Lou, if he ends up being your left tackle, that crosses off a really, really, really big check mark sitting at the top of Ryan Pohl's list this offseason.
Can we just take a second to appreciate how good that draft class has been for the Bears?
They've gotten as the year has gone on. I think that's my favorite part. It's just Loveland had the slow start. Boom, he picks it up. Burden has a slow start. Now he's out snapping Zacchaeus. Monungai, slow start. Now he's out snapping and out carrying DeAndre Swift in week 12. Theo Benedict goes to the bench. Ozzie Trapillo steps in, and it's not an issue. Like this is what it's supposed to be like, and
this is what good teams do. Good teams have deep, early producing draft classes, year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
Very
encouraging. Ben Johnson's done a great job. I mean, I think we've talked about mostly with Burden and Loveland, but like they might not have been starters from day one and taking every snap from day one, but as they've proven themselves in game, in practice, in meetings and all that stuff, he's rewarded them with more and more looks, more and more snaps. And now we're getting to the point where those two are just regular fixtures in the offense. So like, I think Ben Johnson has done an outstanding job bringing these guys along at the correct pace, not just throwing them. And some guys are good enough to get away with just throwing them in there and, say sink or swim. And maybe those two were, but how Ben Johnson has brought them along has made them legitimate NFL impact players at week 12, week 11, whatever the heck this week is.
Everybody made fun of Ben and the Bears and Ryan about the draft. Why did we go, we're drafting wide receiver in the second round. You've already got these wide receivers, taking a tight end with the 10th pick, this and that. Like there was so much flack about it. Guess what? I was in Detroit or in Kansas City in 2023. I was in Kansas City in 2023 covering the draft, and everybody was making fun of Brad Holmes for the picks that he made there. That was the Jahmyr Gibbs draft. Everybody was making fun of Brad Holmes. Look how that worked out. All of those players that were taken that he got made fun of for by people in the industry, they are working covering the draft. Pro Bowlers.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, best running back in football.
Components to their winning recipe over there.
It's that class is slowly but surely becoming, I don't know, saving Ryan Pohl's job is probably no longer on the hot seat anymore because of how good this season. I'm not sure if that's done a great job, gone a long way in saving his job from where we were after what was it, the Detroit game where it was like, oh, is this time to keep Ben Johnson but move on from Ryan Pohl's? The way this draft class has come along, you have to give Ryan Pohl's a nice round of applause because he got flack for picking Luther Burden when they didn't really need a wide receiver, but Luther Burden looks really darn good. He got flack for, picking the wrong tackle because certain people hadn't heard Ozzie Trapillo's name before, but they took a tackle in the second round. He looks really good. Loveland obviously looks great. So hats off to him for those three picks. They kind of starting to look like home runs.
And Kyle Monungai.
Double.
Don't forget Kyle.
And Kyle Monungai.
Jamar Turner was starting to put it together before his season ending. I love how they were using him as like a defensive end.
Ruben Hippolyte has performed fine, serviceably at worst in the limited spots that he's been in as well. So,
yeah, people get don't get me. I didn't like that pick. I still kind of don't. It was a reach because you probably could have gotten him later. But at the same time, now everybody looking back at that draft, I feel like there's so many people who are like, oh, well, he still shouldn't have picked him. That was a really bad pick. It's like, okay, his first three are awesome. So find me one GM that goes 7 for 7 or 8 for 8 every year. It doesn't always happen. So reaches happen in the NFL. Sometimes you swing and miss. Yeah, they happen. So Give the guy a break.
The Athletics playoff odds simulator now has the Bears at a 54% chance to make the playoffs. How comfortable are we? Are we higher or lower than 54% right now, gentlemen? Just to make the playoffs, not win the division. It's just to earn a playoff berth, however that happens.
I'd have a better answer for you after Monday Night Football, because if the Panthers can pull off an upset of the 49ers, that would help the Bears a ton, because that gives them some separation in the wild card race. I think the NFC South is only getting one team, and it's going to be whoever wins it, whether it's the Bucs or whether it's the surprise Panthers. Wouldn't it be something if the Bears and Panthers
Baker out now? Baker banged up.
Wouldn't it be something if the Bears and Panthers, after making that crazy trade, both make the playoffs in the same year? That would be, you can't script football. Nice reminder of that.
Yeah, like 50-50 still seems like the right type of odds, just because you look who's still lurking. Like the Niners are still a very good football team. The Bears schedule is still very hard. It's like, this is still like 9 wins it's not guaranteed to get you in the playoffs. They still probably have to get to 10 or even 11 wins.
11.
And finishing that strong would still be like a really, really good achievement and accomplishment. So like, I love where the Bears are. I love how they're playing football, but finishing the season would be 500 is still tough because of who they still have left to play. And there's not a whole lot of margin for error, even though the Bears are right now sitting at 8-3 in first place in the NFC North. They're a game ahead of Detroit, who beat them, granted different team in week 2, but beat the brakes off them. And they're a half game ahead of the Packers, who's a very good football team. So a lot of football left to play. I love where they're at, but like it's still kind of a coin flip.
But they control their own destiny, and that's what matters.
They do. That's awesome.
Right.
We're playing meaningful football.
3-3 down the stretch to win 11 games. And make me and save me from looking like an idiot at the end of December.
Yeah, you were feeling yourself a little bit with that tweet about beating the Philadelphia Eagles and being 9-3 in first place in the NFC.
I still mean.
I know. I know you mean it, but you're feeling yourself a little bit with that one. Nothing wrong with that.
Post game vibes, man. I was feeling it.
I love it.
The Eagles looked beatable yesterday.
That's the thing. For as good as I think like the Niners ceiling still is, and like the Lions ceiling we know is still really good. They're sitting there in 8th. Like where the Eagles are, where the Packers are, like the Rams, I think are right now establishing themselves as the best team in the NFC. I know the Eagles beat them earlier, but the Rams right now with how they're playing, they look like the best team on both sides of the ball. But like the Eagles don't look like the monsters they were last year. Like the Packers lost to the Panthers and the Browns. Like they don't look like this unbeatable monster, and the Bears are only getting healthier defensively. Like they're probably going to get Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon back this week. That would be my guess. In hindsight, while I wanted them to play Sunday, there was probably no chance at all they were going to rush them back and then have them go Sunday and Friday. That just wasn't going to happen coming off those injuries. Probably see those two come back. TJ Edwards is it's closer than Tremaine Edmonds, but the linebackers are only getting healthier. Like this defense is only getting healthier.
Listen, I got to tell you, the Eagles, obviously, being the reigning champs and being 8-3 or 8-2 previous to a pretty bad loss to the Cowboys last night, obviously makes this game feel like a little bit of a David and Goliath situation for the Bears. Mm-hmm. Bears really are a lot closer than anybody wants to talk about right now between the Bears and the Eagles. And I'm just not really afraid of Philadelphia on Friday. It's in their building. It's Friday. Like it could get they could come in there. The Bears can go in and just get absolutely smacked if Philadelphia figures out how to use everything that they have on that roster. But the thing is we're 12 weeks into the season and they're yet to figure out how to use everything that they have on their roster.
Yeah,
that's where we're
at. That's a very fair point. They're struggling to figure out how to. It's a very talented roster. It's a very talented group, but it's starting to look like one that's made a couple of deep playoff runs the last couple of years. They're starting to get banged up. They've lost a lot of their depth along the offensive line. Like Lane Johnson not being around really, really hurts them. There's some stat over the last 5 or 6 years.
24. They're 15-24 without Lane Johnson since
when Lane Johnson doesn't play, they are a sub 500 team,
and by a margin.
I'm not saying that means the Bears are going to go in there and win, but like that's just last year they had the offensive line depth to survive some injuries. This year they kind of don't. And that's what happens when you win Super Bowls, when you go to Super Bowls, when you win the NFC, like you start to lose your depth because teams like, the Bears or whoever will sign your depth to be starters. And now they're very thin on the depth. They're going to reload at some point in the next couple of years and start to be a little bit better. But this is a year we're starting to see, it's not like, I don't even want to call it a Super Bowl hangover because it's not a Super Bowl hangover. It's not like they've just been ravaged in their two deeps on the depth chart, and it's starting to show up now.
Yeah. But that's the NFL. That's the salary cap era. That's, they are positioned to reload next year with a bunch of draft picks. This year, it's not a hangover year. It's kind of a bridge year, but they're still a good team. I think Patrick's onto something, though. I think this Bears team is closer to the Eagles than others might admit, because the Eagles are coming back to the pack and the Bears are on the ascent. So, yeah, they're definitely closer than what I thought they would be in week 1.
Correct. I think in my season game by game preview, like whatever, where I had them 9-8, but I had this game just like, I think the only description I had was no chance or something along the lines of that. I'm not going to say the Bears are going to win Friday. I'm not going to say the Bears are going to win on Friday. I'm not even going to say I think the Bears are going to, like, I'm not going to predict them to win on Friday, but like there is a chance from where we were at the beginning of this. Is not like the Hail Mary prayer, like they need everything to go right to win this game. It's like, nope, they're going to go into Philadelphia with a chance to win. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. Doesn't mean they're not going to get blown out even. But like with where they're at and where Philly's at, this is not the insurmountable Goliath that we thought it might have been at the beginning of the year.
Got to call in a favor to the Pope.
I don't even think it's all that serious. I don't even think we need to burn that favor with the Pope right now. Maybe next week against Green Bay, but I think the Eagles are far more beatable than we're talking. I mean, looking at next gen stats, the Bears overall passing efficiency, 11th. The Eagles pass efficiency on the defensive side of the ball, 7th. Very slight advantage. Rushing efficiency, offense versus defense, 8, 9, no advantage. Pressure rate, 11, both ways, no advantage. Overall passing efficiency, the other way around, the Bears defense and the Eagles offense, 12, 15, no advantage. Like the Eagles only have very, very marginal advantages in this game all around right now. And that's not to say that they can't win. It's just to say that this is definitely not, this is a winnable game for the Bears.
Yeah. It's not they're walking in as 13.5 point underdogs that we thought it might be at the beginning of the year.
What, 7.5 point underdogs though?
I honestly have not checked it. Probably 7.5, I guess. 7?
Yeah. I wonder if producer Addison.
I don't actually bet, but yeah, I would. I can't bet. It sucks for me because I live in Nevada, so like you got to go into the casino to do pretty much anything. There's only.
I feel so bad for you. You have to drive to the Strip and go to casinos. Boo hoo!
Yeah. While you're out there,
when you get to drive to Caesars and go place bets and play blackjack for a little while, I feel so bad for him.
But when you live here, you don't want to go do that. Like it's all the F1 crap is going on right now. Traffic's an absolute nightmare getting to and from the Strip. Like it's a hard pass for me. I get it, man. I get it.
It's like 30 degrees and gray and going to rain all week, so I don't feel bad for you.
Hey, we had the most rain in the last 10 days here than we've had in the 2 years that I've lived here. It was terrible. I felt like I was back home. So
playing the world's smallest violin.
Shut up.
Guy in desert complains about rain.
Oh man. This is like Bears fans complaining about being 8-3 and having a quarterback who can play competent football.
It's pretty similar. It's pretty darn similar.
My steak is too juicy. My lobster too buttery.
That's good stuff. Well, Lou, take us home.
All right. So it's a shorter week than usual because of Thanksgiving, but we've got a lot of good stuff coming up at BN and BN Bears. Obviously, we're on Jalen and Kyler watch again this week. It's the Bears are playing meaningful football after Thanksgiving. To be where we are now, after where we were last year at this time, it's a beautiful thing. So hopefully you will check us out at bleachernation.com/Bears, on Twitter at BN_Bears, at Facebook/Bleacher Nation Bears, at Blue Sky, BN-Bears, and check out our friends covering the Bulls, Cubs, and Blackhawks. Connor Bedard is the truth, man. And we've got some ball players in the city, and it's going to make for a nice winter.
Indeed. Fun stuff, gentlemen. Fun stuff. Well, hey, everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy and safe holiday. And we will see you all on Friday evening to talk Bears Eagles.